Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for January 30th. January 30th is the 30th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 335 days remaining to the end of the year, 336 if it happens to be a leap year. Today's word is CliffNotes or CliffNotes. CliffNotes is more correct, but many people who use the term in this way do say CliffNotes without the S in the middle, as I do. I'm informed that saying it CliffNotes instead of CliffNotes is not correct, and I wonder if it maybe is incorrect in a similar manner to the way that ain't isn't correct. I think ain't finally made it into the dictionary. I'll have to see. I don't know. Anyway, CliffNotes are a series of student study guides that present rather lengthy and involved material in a more abbreviated form. And I think the original idea was to use CliffNotes on a particular work alongside the lengthier work as a study guide. But of course, it didn't take students very long to figure out that you could just cram the CliffNotes and pass the test. And so it has come to pass that the term CliffNotes or CliffNotes has come to be a term that means long story short or too long didn't read. CliffNotes. I'd like to take a moment to mention that links to my research are included in the show notes. I ask you to go ahead and click that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Remember that you can share this video with others with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. And also that there is a link to my This Day in History playlist in the show notes, both directly here on YouTube and also to my blog that has them all posted there. I will put a link to the YouTube link right up in the corner there. And with that, we're going to start with this story. I'm going to preface by saying that on this day in history for January 30 in last year's episode, I told you about how King Charles I was beheaded for treason in 1649. I will link that video up there in the corner as well. The CliffNotes version is that a fellow named Oliver Cromwell didn't like King Charles I for whatever reason. There was a put-up charge, and he was tried in a kangaroo court and executed on pretty short order. Oliver Cromwell. Anyway, with the king out of the way, then Cromwell abolished the monarchy, put himself in charge of running the country. And I guess that worked out more or less okay, as long as Cromwell was alive. When he died, his son Richard stepped up to take the plate. Now, that's nothing like a monarchy. A guy dies and his kid takes over. Anyway, apparently Richard was not a very effective leader, and it didn't take long at all for the other people in that strata to get a hatful. They mounted a coup, threw Richard out, and reestablished the monarchy, putting Charles II in place as king. The reestablishment of the monarchy took place in 1660, and in January of 1661, some 10 years after Oliver Cromwell had died, of natural causes, by the way, he was posthumously convicted of treason himself, and upon that conviction, he was removed from his honored grave that he'd been buried in. And on January 30th, 1661, in an ironic twist, Oliver Cromwell was ritually executed, even though he'd already been dead 10 years. This was done in a most demeaning manner, and he was buried elsewhere. I don't think his exact grave is marked. I think there's a plaque somewhere in the vicinity of approximately where most of his skeleton is. On January 30th, 1847, Yerba Buena, California, was renamed San Francisco, California. This is the birthday of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Is it Delano or Delano? Franklin D. Roosevelt. This is the birthday of Franklin D. Roosevelt, born January 30th, 1882. He became the 32nd President of the United States and lived to the age of 63. This is the birthday of a comedian named Dick Martin, born January 30th, 1922. He was part of the comedy team Rowan and Martin. They had a TV show called Laugh In. Pretty funny stuff. Back then, there wasn't such a thing as politically correct. So they're all over the map. I have put a link to their channel in the show notes. And Dick Martin lived to the age of 86. This is the birthday of a fellow named Douglas Engelbart, born January 30th, 1925. He was a computer scientist, pretty brilliant guy. He invented the computer mouse and worked on what would become hypertext and networked computers. This internet pioneer lived to the age of 88. This is the birthday of actor Gene Hackman, born January 30th, 1930. Quite a filmography on that one. The French Connection, Unforgiven, Bonnie and Clyde, many more. As of the time I conduct this research, he's still alive. By golly, turns 91 in 2021. This is the birthday of English drummer, singer, songwriter, producer, and actor Phil Collins, born January 30th, 1951. So he turns 70 in 2021. On January 30th, 1956, Martin Luther King Jr.'s home was bombed. Fortunately, no one was physically harmed, mentally and emotionally. That's another matter. And the community was outraged, as one might well imagine. Now, here's a tip. Don't brag on your sailing vessels as being unsinkable. We all remember the RMS Titanic, considered to be unsinkable. It hit an iceberg and sank in 1912. Well, on January 30th, 1959, the Danish ship MS Hans Hedtoft, said at the time to be the safest ship afloat, considered to be unsinkable, hit an iceberg on its maiden voyage and sank, killing all 95 aboard. And that is all I have for you today. Hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. I always do. As always, links to my research is included in the show notes, along with my This Day in History playlist. Or you can, of course, check the corner up there for the playlist link and also the link to last year's episode. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Now let's see how we're going to say that. And I have to edit the heck out of that one. Let's read that again. Let's try something different here. That might not make it into the video, we'll see. Okay, let's try that again. Not too salty though. Gotta be just right. No, it's not. Okay, hold on. That's not a nice way to say it.